Boys, merry men. Welcome back to the live stream. Am I live? I think I'm live. We got to get into it right away because we have so much to do. Guys, I've been so motherfucking busy. So I know I told you guys I wanted to finish this case before I went on vacation, but also I had family visiting from out of town, which meant I had to be social so much. Let me keep in mind, I usually do one social activity a week. It's kind of normal in my repertoire to go out once a week. But no, my sister was in town, so I was doing family stuff every single day of the week. From the day she got in on Thursday, I went to the art museum in just a little bit north of Buffalo. We have this beautiful art museum that was newly renovated, maybe newly a couple years ago, but we went there with family, and then we had a dinner out on the terrace along Delaware Park, right over the water. It was beautiful. It was nice. And that would have been fine. But then I wasn't able to stream. And then on Friday, I was like, well, maybe I can try to stream Friday, but that didn't work either because then we had plans Friday evening where we had to go out to Niagara Falls because that's one of the wonders of the world. And when people are visiting the area, you got to go to Niagara Falls. You just gotta. And then we went up to Lewiston. We went to the Griffin Pub. We had dinner there. Once again, along more water. There is a lot of water to eat at many restaurants alongside of in Buffalo. Then it was Saturday morning, I had to go to brunch, but before I had plans for brunch, one of my friends decided they wanted to do mushrooms the night before. I get a phone call at 2 o'clock in the morning out of my bed from one of my friends who's like, George, you gotta come find me. I'm high as shit on mushrooms, and I'm panicking, and I don't know where I am, and I don't know what to do. So after like 20 minutes of trying, I got this person to manage to send me the location on their phone. They were wandering somewhere in the outer harbor in downtown Buffalo. So I had to hop in my car at 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm not a particularly good friend in general, and like I don't really think about other people in the way that like really charismatic people do. I'm not going to go out of my way to do things for you. So in my opinion, the best way to compensate for not being a particularly outgoing friend is that it is my duty to be there as the friend when you need somebody. So if you're like in a hot situation and you need a friend, I will be the type that'll come through for you, even though I'll probably never like go out of my way to do something particularly nice for you. I think that's like a pretty fair balance. So like you can definitely count on me when you're in a really tight jam, but like don't expect anything more out of me. I think that works out fine. So I find this guy, I rescue him, I go to bed, wake back up because at 8 o'clock in the morning, I got to get up and get ready for brunch. Of course. So I do brunch at my parents'. Then Saturday night we have plans because we're supposed to meet with my uncle and my aunt to do dinner at Pasquale's Italian restaurant. And keep in mind, I'm naming all of these restaurants because you have to understand, in addition to being social every night, I am eating at restaurants every single night for like 5 days in a row. Because Sunday night, we also have plans. And then Monday night, we also have plans. Sunday, we had, my parents got my sister and I tickets, our whole family. We went out to watch a tribute band that like performed a Santana tribute. And so we had food for that. It was like greasy pizza. And then Monday, we went to a bar called the Rusty Nickel and we played trivia and we had greasy food there. So I'm eating terrible food. Mind you, I have a flight tomorrow to Amsterdam. And for any of you who don't already know, I'm a whore on the internet. This is a business trip. I have a flight to Amsterdam tomorrow to do photo shoots and work and meeting and networking with other gay porn people for pornography. For OnlyFans, which involves taking my shirt off, which means I'm not supposed to be eating a bunch of calorically dense, greasy, and shitty food every single night for the week before I'm supposed to go on these photo shoots. So to compensate for eating like absolute dog shit with my family, I went on the 1 meal a day diet, which is a diet which is my version of like a crash diet. If I'm like the week before a photo shoot where I'm like supposed to, oh, let's show off our body. And I'm trying to eat like shit. I'm like, well, let me eat only one meal a day, and my 1 meal a day will be these super heavy meals at these restaurants, and hopefully that'll balance out kind of a little bit. So today was my only day that I have in between of all of my family stuff, and then going to do all of my adult entertainment stuff in Amsterdam, which hopefully will be fun, but my social battery is fried. And so when I have two different friends who were like, oh, George, you don't have plans? Do you want to like hang out today? I had to be like, no, I love you to death, but dear God, no, I can't hang out. I need this day to be a day of like to myself. I still went to the gym, and right now I have laundry going. You might hear it beep at some point during the stream. It's in the dryer now. I have to fold it. I have to pack. I have to do the dishes. I have to take out the garbage. I have to get myself ready to leave. I went to the grocery store and I bought snacks and ice cream to fill my freezer and my pantry, because this is a little bit of a weird one. I really, really appreciate stocking up my pantry and freezer before I go away on vacation, because it is a common pattern that when I get home from vacation, I tend to get home in like the middle of the night, and nothing in this world makes me happier than getting home at the middle of the night when everything's closed, getting to my apartment, and just having like a Ben & Jerry's in the freezer that I can open and dig into and participate in my gluttony. It's almost like my reward for having gone out and lived a life, took a lot out of me. So glad I got that over with. Now, as my reward, I can sit on that couch behind me, pop on some Netflix, open a Ben & Jerry's, curl up in a ball, and cease to exist in the public world. That's like what I look forward to the most. I'm looking forward to getting home from Amsterdam and doing that. And I have Ben & Jerry's in my freezer waiting for me for when that transpires. All right, those are all of my updates. I tried to get through them as fast as I could. The point is, I did make it a point to be here for stream today, because I want to finish this case. I want to try to finish this case to the best of my abilities before I go on vacation, because I will be gone the rest of this week. I will be gone Monday. The earliest that you will see me, assuming that there are no other complications that arise in my travel plans, will be Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, which is 1 week from today, because I will be busy taking photos and videos that at least some of you are going to enjoy. Okay, fair warning, this cross-examination is infamously challenging. If you're in a hurry, let me know if you want the answer. Respectfully, am I not, like, exceptional at this game? Have I not been giving an exceptional performance? All right, well, let's find out. Let's see how well I can do. Let's get started now. The waxwork plot. All right, ma'am, I do remember that you are about to lie, because you're covering to protect. Is it to protect Drebber's ass, or is it to protect the chief prosecutor's ass? I don't know, but you're being dishonest, and I don't got time for that. Okay, so lie to me however you're going to try. I'm gonna see through it. I hope, and we're gonna get right through this. John Brown, Jacob Welsh, Tim the W, Changeling DJ, Tito J, and the rest of you, hello, welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, the waxwork plot. Let's go. It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instructions, was beneath the experimentation stage. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately. The truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state secret of the highest level. I had to protect it. So I was right! I mean, sorry, voice cracking puberty again. So I was right. The stage and the machine were all specially designed for the deception. So it seems. And all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy. Thank you. Or wait, maybe not? So kind of you to say, actually.
And what about this autopsy reports, then?
Yeah, I've got a friend who sees through all the bullshit, mind you.
All I did was record the location of the body as being in the Crystal Tower instead of under the stage.
That's all? That's a terrible corruption!
Only my team were made aware of the deceit, and then only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you.
We must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for a cross-examination, I would say. I object! I disagree. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong here. Just look at the expression on Dr. Scythe's face. It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following testimony.
What is it about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent? Am I being racist?
She's being racist. Maxwell, hello. Dave Abler, hi. Very well, if you so desire, counsel. Proceed with the cross-examination. Thank you, my lord. Gonna get right on that. I'm gonna do amazing. All right, well, I was warned that this one's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be a real doozy, so I guess that means I should press everything. Let's gather. Oh, goody me! I have two strikes, which means I'm allowed to make one mistake before all my credibility is shot. Delightful. It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. Right. Okay, let's press this. I'm digging. From what you described before, it sounds like the note was anonymous. Did you have any idea of who was behind it?
There are very few people in the know about what really happened 10 years ago to start with. But anyway, I'd never heard of this engineer, so no, I had no idea.
Yet, despite not knowing who was behind the plan, you decided to go along with it?
I had no choice. Protecting the professor's secret was my only concern.
But the horse has bolted now, and the stable door will never shut again. Scotland Yard's reputation will be immeasurably damaged as a result of all of this.
Yes, thank you, Lord Von Seeks. I'm well aware of that.
So, as I understand it, what you found in the birdcage was the waxwork model. Where, then, was the victim's body? Alright, the body was, beneath the experimentation stage. Alright, press this. So, you knew about the special construction of the stage used to carry out the trick, then?
It was quite obvious what had happened with the victim and the waxwork.
And you switched the two over, didn't you? In other words, you recorded the victim's body as having been discovered in the Crystal Tower, and the waxwork?
I wrapped it and sent it by carriage to the specified address at the specified time.
And why were you given such directions? Presumably so it could be recovered by Drebber and returned to Madame Tuspel's. I see. And then you put the birdcage back on the experimentation stage.
Yes. Although someone obviously made a mistake about which cage should go where. I thought I'd made it perfectly clear to them, but still.
I suppose you were focused on the victim's body, that being a more important detail. Body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. Yeah. Okay, press this. When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this?
Yes, the instructions in the engineer's note said something along the lines of, fabricate some evidence to make it clear that Hairbrain alone could have killed Assman.
So, you mean that was your doing?
I fetched Hairbrain's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage, and took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen.
Alone, Doctor?
I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception.
Oh, okay, T, we're getting it.
There was a void under the stage where I found the birdcage lying in the dirt. I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. Then, I took the screwdriver in both hands, and I plunged it into the man's chest. Oh, okay.
And then you noted that in your fake autopsy report as a fictitious cause of death.
Exactly.
So, the actual cause of death was...
The trauma resulting from the 30-foot drop.
My word. What's wrong, Susato-san? You look displeased. Is your bullshit detector going off?
Something about Dr. Scythe's last statement reeks of a lot of bullshit to me. That's all.
Of course. It actually is detecting... I'm getting a whiff of that shitty bull, too. Dr. Scythe!
There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well.
Sorry. Get that one a lot. The defense calls for you to add what you just said to your formal testimony.
Oh? Which part?
What I want her to supplement her testimony with is... what she did to the victim or the real cause of death. Hold up! One of these two things is going to help us get further in our case. And one of these is going to get me fucked! Probably. So it's been a while since I've looked at my evidence. Why don't I just take a little peruse through some of these things, okay? First things first, we've got the photograph of the victim. There is, in fact, a stab wound in his chest. Can confirm. I should also look at the autopsy report. Adi Assman, British, died around 2:20 p.m. Hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart inflicted by a sharp instrument. Additional observations. A broken vertebra, most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from a considerable height. Broken vertebra, fall from a considerable height. Stabbed in the heart. Your heart is like here. That looks like where his heart would be, I think. I think that's correct. I mean, she is the one who faked the autopsy report, so... Now, she says that she acted alone. Is that what we want to get at? A metal screwdriver that was found poking through the grill in the base of what remains of the kinesis machine. It was found poking through the grill in the base of what remains of the kinesis machine. This crashed down with the victim inside to the crystal tower. And the cage is broken at the base. I see. So, we're getting somewhere here, boys. Somewhere today. She wears gloves, doesn't she? So I guess there would be no fingerprints. Unusual shape of the handle. This is the screwdriver that was poking through the floor of the kinesis machine. Poking through the floor of the kinesis machine. Looks like a capital A for Andrew, I suppose. I suppose. Right. And we got this piece. This is blood, Mr. Assman's. This is the problem with looking at murder weapons. Okay, right. Yeah, for sure. Okay. The real cause of his death, which she's saying that the real cause was the fall. What she did to the victim. What she did, she claims she's the one who did the stabby stab. I don't know which is more relevant. Photographic print of the experimentation stage. Is this right here, is this the grill of the kinesis machine? These triangles with these holes, those look like grills. Was that where the screwdriver was? Was the screwdriver in here? I forget, actually. Driver's contract, newspaper article. Well, let me save and go with 1. Let me see what she says. And you know what? The game is usually pretty good at giving me a chance to, like, switch to the other dialogue. Maybe once I read dialogue, that'll help a little bit. The real cause of death versus what she did to the victim. I stabbed him. I did it myself. I acted alone. They were really particular about her acting alone. Like, is there a way that I could disprove that she did it alone? Would my argument be, you're a woman. Ain't no way a woman is strong enough to stab a man through the No, that sounds sexist. I'm sure she could do it all by herself. Maybe it's about the blood. Well, maybe it is. Maybe I can. Is there a way for me to prove? I mean, the autopsy report is essentially useless to me because the autopsy report is fraudulent. So how am I supposed to take any of this seriously? So I don't know how the cause of death can be helpful. So let me try what she did to the victim. Touch more on how you stabbed Mr. Assman in the chest.
Fine, if that's what you want, but there's really no need to point.
The prosecution concurs. He pointed at her. Very well, you will supplement your testimony now, witness. Okay, here we go.
If you wish, my lord.
I stood over the victim's corpse, where it lay in the toppled cage, and I plunged the screwdriver into the chest. Well, plunged over the victim's corpse where it lay in the toppled cage. The toppled cage. So here he is in the cage. He's strapped in, ready to be stabbed. Right. Beautiful. Okay. Here's my hypothesis. This is a little bit of a stretch, but I have one hypothesis. Going off what I can. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm not following everything exactly here. Is she implying that she opened the cage? Or is she implying that she stabbed him whilst the cage was closed? Because here's my thought. You could... If the cage was stuck closed, if she doesn't have the ability to open the cage and then reclose the cage, I could hypothetically maybe possibly be like, that X thing that's like in the front of the cage, that like possibly blocks his heart region where he would get the stabby stab, and she couldn't have gotten a clean shot into the cage with him like that, and so she like couldn't have stabbed him for that reason, is one piece of logic that I have. However, I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Small fragment of unusually thick glass that was found in the folds of the clothing the professor of the waxwork would appear to be from the crystal tower. Maybe it's also the fall from the tower? Wait. Hang on. Okay. Let me take hypothesis 1 that I just presented to you. We're going to put that one on the back burner. Okay, so if I can look at this diagram again, right? We have established, I need to do this. She already said that she opened the cage. Okay, fantastic. The professor was the one that was in the balloon. The waxwork. So the waxwork is what fell through the crystal tower. He fell through the floor here. Is she saying that this is the fall that killed him? In which case, here's my dilemma there. These people were pulling off a scam, right? the whole design of the scam was that he's supposed to fall through here, but then the professor's supposed to fall through here, and the waxwork is what goes through the crystal tower. So if the scam was designed, if it was designed for him to fall through the hole in the floor down here, wouldn't it be the case that this falling contraption would have been designed for him to survive? To not die from? Shit. It's been a while since I've played, so I might be forgetting some of the details here, but like, shouldn't he have been A-okay to pull off this scam? Under these circumstances? I think? So maybe that's what's wrong? What if I press this?
Hold it!
Okay. So it was you who stabbed Assman with this.
Yes, far easier than dissection, I assure you. No precision required.
What a welcome change.
The victim died instantly from a snapped neck. All I did was carry out the instructions I'd been given.
As unflinchingly as ever, no doubt. I imagine you didn't bat an eyelid when you drove the weapon into his body.
There was no need to bat my eyelids.
And what else did you do to twist the facts? Remind the court, why don't you?
If you wish.
Okay. She enlisted the help of the forensic investigation team. The body had to be arranged in certain ways. I stood over the victim's corpse. Okay, let me see if I can change her statement here. All right, let's try the other one. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna figure this out. All on my lonesome. All right, here's the T. All right, she did in fact open the birdcage, took the screwdriver with both hands, plunged it into. So the man's strapped. He's strapped down. Would he have broken a vertebrae? He's strapped to the machine. Maybe that's the thing I'm getting at, because my man is restrained. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but maybe it does. Again, I think he was supposed to be designed to... All right, let's try this. The real cause of death being the fall. Yeah, I want her to elaborate on that. Okay, now I'm convinced. Have her change it. Dr. Scythe, I believe what you said about the real cause of death, I believe that may be significant, so could you change your supplementary statement to explain that instead?
Very well.
Oh, thank God, she's being perfectly reasonable. The actual cause of death was the neck trauma that Assman suffered from the 30-foot fall. Okay. Do I have evidence but do I have any evidence to fight against that, though? The wooden cage that was used for the demonstration, it crashed down with the victim inside into the crystal tower, causing damage to its base. But this one had the waxwork model, not him. Because our victim didn't fall through the crystal tower. He fell through the kinesis machine. Am I understanding that right? You're quite sure of this. It was the result of a broken neck.
Yes, as a professional, that was more than apparent. You'd never know just by looking at the photograph of the victim, though, would you?
No, that's very true. Oh, wait a second. That's an interesting line.
Obviously not. Which is precisely why coroners are needed to determine the actual facts.
Yeah, assuming they can be trusted. There's no point calling her assessment into question without evidence. Let's get back to the testimony.
Very well.
Okay, hang on. The cogs in my brain are turning again. Actual cause of death was neck trauma. Okay, hold the motherfucking phone. Okay. So. New hypothesis. I'm gonna lay it on you guys. Susato-san, she was like, you couldn't tell that his neck was broken just by looking at this photo, which kind of is like, you can't tell just by, like, looking plain as day, right? The coroner would need to, like, move around the body. Now, he's still strapped. He's still strapped in. Now, in theory, what she could have done was unstrapped him and checked his body, then re-strapped him back in, then done her little stabby stab. So that's entirely plausible. But I could try to argue. And look, there's even a cushion for his head and everything. She for sure stabbed him whilst he was still strapped in, because you see the blood splatter on the strap. So maybe she didn't unstrap him. Maybe she just walked in, stabbed him, and killed him, and never checked his neck in any capacity of any type. Because also, okay, well, his glasses are perfectly, well, no, because, I mean, she could have done anything to this body. She could have moved it, put it back in, strapped it back in, then stabbed it. Yeah. So maybe I'm blowing hot smoke up my own ass. This is tricky. How do I disprove this? It's a brilliant question. Well, you can't tell it from the photograph. You can't. I'm still thinking. It's got, I mean, there's only so much we have to work with, so I feel like it's kind of got to be that. Right? Photograph the balloon. Mr. Drebber appears to be wearing a monocle. Don't know why that's relevant yet. Wooden cage crashed down with the victim inside to the crystal tower, caused damage to its base. Small fragment, crystal tower, camera, science trophy, waxwork guide, killer's autopsy report, which is also not relevant, I don't think. Hanging from June 17th. Yeah, okay. Drebber's contract, 10-year-old article. I think it's the photograph. If not the screwdriver, but I think it's the photograph. I'm gonna try and see what happens here.
Objection!
Shit! Oh, offense! I would object to that statement. I think is okay. Fuck yeah. Okay. That's fair. Okay. Actual cause of death was the neck. Did I press this yet? We're quite sure of that. It was the result of a broken neck. You'd never know just by looking at the photograph. That's why coroners are needed. Assuming they can be trusted. Sorry. I'm getting trigger happy. I don't know if I'm gonna beat this case today. Nothing was more important than protecting the secret of the professor. My team did what was necessary without losing sight of the primary goal. I consider their conduct exemplary. Great.
Don't concede the point, Mr. Naruhodo. You mustn't let her win.
I need a lawyer. I'll take that silence as acceptance. Can we move on? Okay. Let's keep going. Let's press this last statement too.
Hold it!
I mean, well, let's press everything while I keep stalling. But at what cost? Faith in Scotland Yard is going to suffer a terrible blow as a result of this. And your precious secret is out now anyway.
Yes, as you say. And I take full responsibility.
Blow me down, Dr. Scythe.
Surely there was some other way you could have protected the secret.
No, there really wasn't. I've done the utmost, believe me. In many ways, I respect your determination.
Whew. I nearly froze under the cold stare as she said that.
I do believe she was being genuine, though, Mr. Naruhodo.
So, that's her story.
She's admitted to everything, and she's revealed her full involvement in the crime. I do wonder if there really could be much more to it.
I don't know, but I just have a feeling.
Do you, Mr. Naruhodo? The truth is, I find it strange too. How those two are reacting to this in completely opposite ways, I mean.
Yeah, that's exactly right. For some reason, I feel sure that they're still trying to hide something. Okay. Back to the drawing board. British died around 220. Broken vertebra, most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall. Metal screwdriver found poking through the grill in the base of what remains in the kinesis machine, and it has a very distinctive handle. Is there anything that I've missed in looking at this? Anything at all? Alright, well, the base, it is very distinctly shaped. It's a line. It looks like the tip's broken off a little bit. Guess that matches this wound, I guess. The fuck? Are we still hypothesizing that this is the one that crashed? Or there's two... Okay, there's two bird cages, right? But I only have one in evidence. This is the non-bloody one. I have the bird cage. I have the bird cage that doesn't appear to have blood on the thingamajig. This is the one that was used with the waxwork, right? The one that was used for the demonstration. It crashed down with the victim inside into the crystal tower. This didn't have the victim inside. Or no, it did. Wait a sec. I'm getting... Alright, chat. I need a refresher. I need to put my people in their right bird cages. Mr. Assman, my victim, the claim is that he already dead. He's inside the bird cage that's up in the sky that falls into the crystal tower. In which case, we're assessing that the scam was having the waxwork figure in the bird cage that goes through the kinesis machine. Or is it the other way, where Mr. Assman was in the one in the kinesis machine and the waxwork was in the one in the balloon that goes... Because I thought that the one... the one with the waxwork in the bird cage in the balloon that goes through the crystal tower, that was the waxwork. And Assman was in this cage. Assman was in this cage? This cage doesn't have the blood. Can I zoom? Is there a way to zoom? Okay, because now we have an inconsistency. All right, look at this. Blood, bloody, bloody, blood. There's blood on this buckle. Blood has splattered onto the buckle. I see it. I see it very distinctly on the buckle. Bloodied buckle. This one doesn't. This one... Well, actually... I guess actually, that looks like it might be blood. But I can't zoom in on anything, so I can't tell if this is blood or not. There's a red spot here on the wood, but I don't see anything red on the buckle. Do you guys see any blood on the buckle? Right? Am I delusional here? So is it that this is the wrong bird cage? Is that my evidence? Maybe? Neck trauma that he suffered from the 30-foot fall. Is it? Maybe this is my end game. All right. I don't need you guys to tell me what the answer is, but now that I'm down to my last credibility, well, is this right or is this wrong? The waxwork was in the balloon, the victim was on the stage. Right. So this is the one that crashed down into the crystal tower, which means that this one must have had the waxwork. It's not the bird cage. That's not what to present. Fuck. Unusually thick glass found in the folds of the clothing the professor's waxwork. Very unusual and thick. Okay, here's a new idea. So the glass... I'm getting so fucked up at my positionings. If he had glass in his... around him... Well... Can you see any glass in this photograph? Not inside of his clothes, you can't. Because I was gonna be like, well, what if there was a glass under the lapel of his... his fucking jacket here, and what if the glass would have prevented the knife from going... No, that doesn't make any sense. Alright, fine, I'll take a hint. What am I not getting here? What the fuck? We're just dicking around here wasting time till no fucking end. This is ridiculous. Is it the post-explosion photograph? The fuck? It's not the bloody buckle. It's not this. It's not that. We found this. Think about Dr. Scythe's actions. Do I have to watch her action? She opens cage. She stabs victim. That's what she said. What else did she say? Saw the waxwork, and I saw the note that was tucked inside of the waxwork's jacket. Okay. The actual body of the victim was under the experimentation stage. Right. Right. So she's swapping them. She's moving. She moved the body from where Stitch was under the experimentation stage, and she moved it to the crystal tower. That's where she placed the body. Afterwards. Then she opens the cage, then she stabs the victim. Look at the cutscene again. Well, then I have to change this whole thing. Alright, let me press this again. Alright, once again, we're talking about the fucking screwdriver. Of course we are. Fabricate evidence. Okay, yep. Alright, here we go, boys. Pay close attention. Okay, the straps are actually very loose on him. Let's look at everything. So the buckles actually stick way further out than I thought they did, but there he is, glasses and everything. There's his lapel. No damage to his chest yet. She leaned down over the birdcage. She opened it up. She opened it. Right. She's holding the screwdriver. Took the screwdriver, she took it into both of her hands and she plunged it into the man's chest. Is that what we take issue with? Is it like... Are we supposed to, like, I mean... You can grab this with both hands, right? Are we supposed to try and say, like, no, you couldn't have? What? Look at the cutscene again. Took the screwdriver. Wait a second. Okay. How is she holding it? How is she holding it in both of her hands? All right, let me think real carefully about this. This stab wound in his chest. I think it's vertical. All right, we're getting deep into it now. I'm examining everything. I think it's a vertical stab wound, which means if she's leaning over the body and she's gonna stab, from the way she's holding it, it would have to go in like this, the way it is on the screen right now, because the line is horizontal to her face. She's holding it, looking at him. He's lying perpendicular to her. She stabs it down and creates what appears as the vertical wound in his chest, which means as she's holding it in both of her hands, she would be holding it like this way, where the whole of the A is in the middle. The whole of the A is in the middle. I can't really see the whole of the A. I think she might be holding it the opposite way. Do you guys see what I'm saying? This is getting real fucking nitpicky. Because the whole of the A goes all the way down to... If she's holding it like this, where the holes of the A are on the side, well, then that changes everything. Because then she's holding it vertically, in which case the stab wound should be a horizontal. But, like, how do I get her to testify on that? This seems like it's getting... Can I go back one and see her grab it again? Then she stabs. After that, it was simply a matter of recording the stab wounds as the cause of death in the autopsy report. I think I'm really going off the deep end. I think I'm losing my mind. But what else was there to see in the cutscene that I missed? Think about Dr. Scythe's actions. I'm thinking very deeply about her actions now. It was simply a matter of recording the stab wound as the cause of death on the autopsy report. I mean, she never says that she checked his neck. Right? She says she opened the cage and she stabbed him. She never says that she checked to see that he had a broken neck right here. So in that case, is the evidence that I want to present the autopsy report? And be like, girl, no, you did not check? The real cause of death being the fall. Of course it was the fall. Okay, so... Oh my god, we're getting nowhere fast. And guys, it's 7:50. Fuck it. Guys, I want to get through this case today. I'm going on vacation for a week. I'm sorry, we gotta speed it up. Alright, which statement is the statement I want? Do I want it to be the cause of death, or do I want it to be her actions of her stabbing him? Those were the two things that her testimony could be, right? Well, let's start there. Which testimony is the testimony that I need it to be? Fuck. Like, we're at a wall here. Change it? Okay. Dr. Scythe, yeah, I believe that may be significant. You can change it. Very well. Fuck my life. I did not realize we were gonna be stuck for an entire hour, not fucking moving a muscle. Plunged the screwdriver into his chest. Okay. And so, we already know it's not the photograph. You're onto something between the cause of death and the wound/blood stains. All right, so is the evidence that I want here the screwdriver? Because you guys said the photo was wrong. You guys said that the birdcage was wrong. I'm running out of evidence that I could see as being relevant. The screwdriver could be relevant. But again, I'm on my last piece of credibility, so I'm not looking to throw it away. Is the screwdriver the thing that I want to present here? One of the pieces you presented might have just been presented on the wrong statement. Are you referring to the birdcage? Okay, so wait, is my blood theory coming back? Can I introduce... I picked the photo for the other statement? Did I really? I thought I picked the photo for this statement. You guys are saying I didn't already present the photo on this statement? I stood over the victim's corpse and plunged the screwdriver into the chest?
Objection!
Okay. Hang on. I've got a nasty feeling here. That this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth. Well, what on earth is the matter, Counsel? Have you lost your tongue? I apologize, my lord. Dr. Scythe, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point that seems to defy explanation. Yeah, what's that? Well, out with it, my learned friend. There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph, which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death. Oh, well, okay. Well, first of all, well, there's an well, I don't know how much of an inconsistency it is. All right, if we're not going with my literally psychopathic thing of the angle at which she stabbed into him in the because I felt like I was really reaching there. The other thing is the broken glass in the background indicates that this photo was taken in the Crystal Tower, but that's also where she planted the body. So I'm assuming she stabbed him, then moved this thing, birdcage and all, to the Crystal Tower. Okay, wait a second. Okay. Maybe it's too ridiculous of a notion to think that she moved both the body and the birdcage. We might be hypothesizing that she moved only the body into the birdcage tower. And then, but she's saying that she found the body under the kinesis machine and then opened the cage and stabbed him. But if she stabbed him in that one, then there wouldn't be blood on this one. Is that what we're getting at here? Because, like, I get it, but it's very rounded. Okay. Well, let me see. Oh, okay. Well, what do you want? The court has already examined that photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it. No, we have already considered the photograph. That much is true. But we know the facts to be different. What do you mean? I believe we should let the defense explain. Where in this photograph would we see the alleged inconsistency with the witness's statement? Well, is the inconsistency the stab wound? She just says, I stabbed him in the chest. Shing! Chest stabbed. Right? Wound to the chest, pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Yes. What am I missing? The inconsistency is directly related to the stabbing. This stab wound, right here. This is it, boys? I can press my X button. It's this stab wound. This is the inconsistency. I promise I won't make a habit of doing this, but I don't... Fuck. Alright, let's look closely at the bloodstain on the victim's chest. Right. I was doing a lot of hypothesizing around the bloodstains, but you guys are saying that it's not what I'm thinking? It clearly extends in a downwards direction towards the man's feet. Are you trying to tell me that this man was stabbed while he was standing? Okay. And you got your... Okay. George, the subtlety is in the gravity because obviously the blood is dripping down his chest as if he was stabbing, but also you guys drew this man with a muscular chest. As a man who also works out his chest, can I remind you that the pectorals are like little round mountains? He is stabbed, you guys can see it, just underneath by the nipple of the chest, which means even if he was laying down, that's like the underside of the tip of the mountain, which means gravity for a laying down person would pull the same way. If he's laying down with a muscle mommy chest, the blood would run down the pectoral. It would run down the pectoral to the torso of the body. I don't like that one. If that's the excuse you want to give, you guys should have made this man you should have drawn him to be either flat-chested or given him a beer gut where the blood was going against gravity by laying down because it went up his beer belly. That would be something you would be able to notice and detect. This just looks like blood naturally kind of curdling down a muscular chest, a muscular mommy milker beautiful pectoral. You guys see the bump in his chest, right? His chest is wearing a fucking bump it. All right, he could be laying down and the blood would run that way. I call bullshit on that. And why is that significant, Counsel? Because it means he was standing. If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Oh, wait, of course. But that's not what happened. Exactly, my lord. Dr. Scythe made it very clear in her testimony just now that the point at which she stole Professor Harebrain's screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after the grand deception was set in motion when the birdcage had fallen below the stage out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear the birdcage would have fallen on its side after the 30-foot drop. And if the victim had really been stabbed whilst inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions. I disagree. Fuck you! For it to have formed the longitudinal appearance we see in this picture is inconceivable. Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Assman, he was standing up. If he was fully standing, the blood should have gone down even more. It should be all down his fucking torso, down to his abdomen, down to his cum gutters. In short, Dr. Scythe, your latest testimony was a total fabrication. You know what? I'm actually not even mad at myself. There's many times where I wear the egg on my face and I'm like, God damn it, how did I not see that in this game? I really think the game thought it was cooking something there that just didn't translate well. That's my opinion, it's my hot take. Ace Attorney purists might say, no, George, you're just a stupid idiot. But I disagree, specifically because I counter with my mommy milker testimony. I think if somebody wants to murder me and you stab me right here while I'm laying down, my blood is gonna pool down my pectoral that I work really hard on and squeezing in chest day, and it's gonna roll down that pec, and it's gonna roll right there. That's how the blood is gonna go. Okay? Fuck you. Anyways, whatever. I've identified the contradiction. So where do we go from here? Do I even have time to keep going? How much longer is this case? Do I have to do another testimony now? It's been a whole fucking hour I wasted on that one fucking testimony. All right, what are we talking about, boys? I'm sorry. Dr. Scythe. You claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Drebber as a result of the note that he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendants. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie. Because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer. If that is the case, what is it, man? Oh, don't call me man. Counsel, you've clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Which part of Dr. Scythe's story is shown to be a lie by the contradiction in her testimony? What? Which part of her story is shown to be a lie? Well, the stabbing of the victim was the part that was a lie. But the autopsy report was also... All of it was a lie, Your Honor! What do you mean? What? She was lying about everything! I don't know anymore! What the fuck? Save complete. I mean, well... The stabbing was the most direct lie. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If, when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards as it did, we can be sure that the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time. But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage. Well, yeah, it would. Which tells us that the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection!
That's impossible! The man was dead, remember? No, that's the misapprehension. When the birdcage fell from the stage into the void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force. Alright, so my lucky duck was alive and he got up. But Mr. Assman didn't die in the fall. He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came around, he got to his feet to climb out of the cage. Just as Dr. Scythe appeared. If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. But then why was there blood on the buckle? Wait a second! You're telling me he got out of the birdcage and was stabbed out of it? There's blood splatter on the buckle! Look at it! Look at it! I want you all to look at it! The blood is splattered on the buckle. It's on the buckle. It's on the buckle. Fuck! Mr. Audie Assman's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Harebrain, nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It was you, Dr. Courtney Scythe. Order, order, order! How can this possibly be true? Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, was it? You killed him. If she moved his body to strap him in whilst he was actively bleeding, so if he's out and about, she stabs into him and then she's going to move his body through the cage and strap him back down, blood would have been dripping all over that cage. That's bullshit! You hoped that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Drebber's scheme, the trial would end. Before you were accused of a far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder.
Oh, do shut up! You're so desperate now, you're making all this up. As if I would do something like that. I assure you, the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Naruhodo has established the facts using evidence and logic alone. Ha! Logic. Don't make me laugh. Sadly, your logic has a gaping hole in it.
Yeah, I make my holes gape. What are you gonna do about it? What? Well, what do you mean?
I'd have thought it obvious. A motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. What possible reason would I have to kill Mr. Assman?
Assman was involved in any number of criminal activities from coercion to theft or murder. But there is no known connection to Dr. Scythe there. What if Mr. Assman was the blackmailer to Dr. Scythe? Huh? I'm rather relieved to say it doesn't seem somewhat far-fetched. True, there's no obvious motive, but there's still something in the back of my mind. I'm sure that I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this.
Yes, I might have tampered with the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is a very different story.
Objection.
No. When you questioned what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Assman, something did come to mind.
What?
Well, what was it, counsel? Enlighten the court at once. Whew. Okay, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? Something that seemed strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time. There's a particular object that explains why Dr. Scythe would have wanted to kill Mr. Assman. Well, this is interesting. The iron mask, scalpels, or the fucking, what was the third one? The screwdriver. I don't even have scalpels in my evidence. We did look at scalpels briefly in her office. Would scalpels have anything to do with it? I'm not quite sure. The iron mask? Maybe? Maybe not? The screwdriver? I don't... Is the answer scalpels? Guys, without having scalpels in my evidence, I'm gonna be real honest with you. I do not remember what we made note of about the scalpels when we were looking around her office. I do remember that there were scalpels. I don't really remember them having any real relevance here. The weirdest thing I have is that, look, I still want to see what's under this waxwork. So I'm kind of like, that's my, it's scalpels? Scalpels. It's a scalpel. Or rather, scalpels. Did you say scalpels? It would appear that word has struck a chord, Doctor.
Come on, out with it.
It was yesterday when we visited your laboratory. Yeah, that's what we call it, not an office. Look at this big, thick book over here.
Ah! It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think.
Right, she was committing tax fraud. She had a bunch of fraudulent purchases of scalpels. That's what we saw. What is it?
It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... well, one entry seems rather strange.
In what way?
They're buying 500 scalpels every month.
Yeah, she was committing fraud. 500 scalpels? A month? At first, I wondered what on earth you could be using that many scalpels for. But actually, I realize now it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them. Disappearing every month from the department's accounts. Assman's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding, tracing the money from the forensic investigation team's accounts to find out where it was going. It would be extremely straightforward. 10 years ago, when Mr. Assman was still a journalist and wrote this article about Mr. Drebber, he may have well stumbled upon information as he was researching the story. Information relating to Dr. Scythe's darkest secret that he would use to rack money from her the next decade. Her darkest secret? Huh! Good lord, do you mean... I don't know what happened on the night of that execution 10 years ago. But clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up. So in the end, you weren't coerced at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Assman in the heart with all of your might. To silence the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever.
You'll never understand. None of you! What we've had to keep covered up all these long years.
As very little of the machine remains after it was ripped apart by the bomb, the truth of this case can never be properly established unless you speak out.
And if you decide not to, it's very possible that Courtney Scythe will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up to what you've done and tell the court the truth about what happened.
10 years ago, you told the truth, and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now. However, this is surely the chance you've been waiting for, to sever the hold that fate's had over you for all these years. Yeah. Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I mean really. It's the addled-brained mock scientists that are the worst, you know. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have talent. They can't even get that right. And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypotheses, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. They make me sick! I can't abide their foolishness. Careful, Mr. Drebber. I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it? So you admit it? You admit that it was nothing more than a sham, made for the purpose of killing the victim? Yes, I admit it. I did it all in the name of revenge. Revenge for the future that Mr. Assman's article deprived you of 10 years earlier. But the revenge you stopped, but the revenge that you sought didn't stop at Assman, did it? Which is where that very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see.
The condemned convicts that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of those events was all true,
then obviously Scotland Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if it meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had. So your plan required that you abduct that particular waxwork model, in order to exact your revenge on Scotland Yard as well, or on Dr. Scythe, to be precise. It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Assman turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he happened to have a paper with him. An article on the front page caught my eye about the coroner who'd handled that bogus autopsy being appointed head of a new forensics team. When I learnt that news, my cognitive processes started to devise a plan.
What a horrid tale.
He robbed me of my future, so I wanted to use the man's own wiles against him, for revenge. And have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hands at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I'd had to suffer. Your actions against those who'd ruined your future were justified as revenge, at least to yourself. Certainly, no one has the right to destroy another's prospects, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you? Yeah, Professor Harebrain was innocent. Did I? Professor Harebrain's only crime was passion for his hypothesis. But you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to effect your revenge. You knew that he would be forever branded a failure and a fraud. Yeah, you did the thing. You became the evil you wanted to fight. Sad. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago, and others' misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man. Yeah, you tell him, Ryunosuke. Feel the shame of your actions. You could apologize. Lord Von Zeus, what of Dr. Scythe? An immediate warrant for her arrest has been granted, and she has been remanded in custody, my lord. I presume she will face trial in the coming days, along with Mr. Drebber. Oh, most regrettable, blah, blah, blah. She's made great contributions to her profession over the years. It really is a hard truth to swallow. The gameplay might be flawed, but you can't argue the story writing isn't amazing. The story is amazing, and look, I'm being a little bit of a dick about the blood thing. I still stand by it. They made a difficult choice. If they wanted because you're looking, the blood is one of the first things you see in this whole case. So obviously they wanted it to be subtle enough, I guess, that it doesn't jump. Because if the blood really ran down the whole entire front of his body, well, that would be like that would perhaps be way too obvious. But they like went the opposite direction of making it too subtle. Because again, the hill I will die on is the hill of the mommy milkers. The way his body was shaped, I feel like it makes all the sense in the world for the blood to have dripped a little bit down his breast pectoral muscle if he was in a lying position. So I think that was a little... I think they kind of walked themselves into a trap with that piece of evidence and trying to keep it subtle and not be too obvious with it, but then trying to have it still be like, no, it was the gravity, you see, because the blood dripped down because he was standing. So it's one little janky piece in an otherwise very, very elaborate story, because there was a lot going on in this case. She made great contributions to her profession over the years. However, that is a topic for some future occasion. For now, Professor Harebrain.
Oh, yes.
It seems there was a great deal more to your experiments than you realized. However, I think we can assume now that all the sordid details have been brought to light. This has been a very long and profound trial, but I'm pleased to say you are absolved of all guilt.
This whole experience has taught me a very great and painful lesson. I've been... this dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered, and above all, a fool.
A professor.
I've spent my life thinking of nothing but my research. Misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to despite my lack of talent. And the worst of it is, in this process I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater people than I.
No, Professor, that's not true. Also, I am reading all of your guys' warnings that once we get to the lobby, there's a lot of post in this case, like a post thing that you guys want me to pay attention to. So I'm hearing you. I will stop once I get to the lobby. We won't do anything there because it sounds like you guys are saying that whatever happens there is somewhat important. And so you probably want me to be fresh and juicy for it and like do it at the beginning of a stream rather than at the end where, let's be so fucking for real right now. I think it's clear that I'm a little bit petered out. We're at about an hour and a half. My energy levels have fallen low. I wasted a really, really long time on that cross-examination. I'm like ready to wrap it up. You guys will want me at my best. Don't tar yourself with the same brush as Drebber. What happened was his doing and his alone. This outcome is his fate, not yours. You're not to blame in any way. Boyfriends, Lord Von Zeeks. And the derision with which he referred to you earlier, calling you a fool, talentless even. The man has no idea. To believe in yourself and your work, your fingers to the bone, and to realize your dream. That's laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choices.
Oh! Thank you, Barak.
Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. It is this court's expectation that you find the defendant not guilty of the charge for which he stands accused. I presume there are no objections. None from me, my lord.
Certainly not.
This trial has really made me think, but this is the right decision. It's all been proven methodically and rigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever.
Malakon, what else are we talking about? It's over.
I don't know what's become of the art these days. I didn't recognize the police. Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant not guilty. God bless. Hallelujah. I've done it. Indoor fireworks. I gotta love them. Adjourn the court. Very well. Court is adjourned. Thank you, Daddy. Whew! We're done, boys! It's over. Yes. That was some trial. Yes. Court? Or lobby? Lobby. Alright. As I promised, we're done here. Let me save before I forget. And, yeah. We will, we'll reconvene with my client, who will hopefully pay me and cheer me for all of my hard work in the next one, which will be in a week from today. In case you guys missed the beginning of stream, just a reminder, I'm going on vacation to Amsterdam. My flight leaves tomorrow, so I'm going to be gone till Tuesday of next week. So till then, boys, if you guys could leave a like on the stream, the engagement is super helpful. Enjoy your week off. A week without me, how will you ever live with yourselves? What can I say? All right, I'm sorry. Till next time, boys. Toodles!